Bonjour, and you are listening to the Book Was Better podcast, the podcast where we talk about the book of the film. Je m'appelle Luke.
Je m'appelle Jacinta.
And this week we're talking about Ratatouille.
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand and trust me, the book was better.
Flawless French to kick us off.
Yeah,
Absolutely
check
perfect
that out. Yeah.
pronunciation.
I did write out the entire intro in French, but it was terrible. So we just did the real basics.
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't want to, it's been a hard week for France. We didn't want to make them feel any worse, basically.
No, and we chose this book before all that happened, so we love you, France, but let's just make this an escapist, fun episode about a rat who, he likes to cook.
He sure does like to cook and like hang out in hair.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's true.
Yes.
And, rats with human qualities we're no stranger to. There's certain shopping centres around Perth where I've seen a lot of human rats weeing in the car park sometimes.
Dropping some sick beats.
Sporting their fine rat tails.
Yeah.
So this idea of a rat that likes to cook, I see it a lot in the food court down at Carousel,
Yeah.
Cannington. Yeah, how great that Pixar decided that this was something worth making a film about.
Like, it's all... Representation in film is so important these days.
Yes.
And, why shouldn't rat people be represented in cinema? Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah.
And, let's paint a picture here for everybody. Let's set the scene.
I mean, like, it's a podcast, Luke. If we paint a picture, they're not going to see it.
Oh, shit, I spent all morning painting this picture.
Oh,
Fuck.
God. Man, we should have spent more time, like, learning the French.
Remind me
Wow,
to post the picture I painted on Facebook.
All right.
That's the Eiffel Tower, by the way. Could you tell?
Oh, is it? Okay.
Okay, no, I won't post it. Anyway, this was the first time you watched this film. You never saw this film until
I'd never
you
seen it.
did it for this show.
Yes, I watched it the other day, actually, for the first time. And, it was fine. It was okay.
I really enjoy this film.
Yeah, there's some stuff that we'll sort of talk about at the end that I did really enjoy about the movie. I guess the movie as a whole was okay, but there were certain things in it that I thought were really great.
And I got to admit, when I was in a big Pixar sort of high, and then they showed this trailer, it's a rat and he wants to learn to cook, and I was like, I'm not interested in that. That's not really for me. There was nothing about it that kind of stood out. And foolish me, you've really got to trust Pixar, because I ended up seeing it in the cinema but very late in its run and was like, oh, I'm so glad I caught that on the big screen. And I really did enjoy it. It exceeded my expectations. And it's always an unusual one when we do something like this. And we did it with Inside Out not that long ago, where we're taking a film that's really a pretty good film and then seeing how somebody manages to try and get that magic across, which is obviously very visual, in a thin, churned out book.
Yes. Well, spoiler alert, this is a Disney book that has the ending of the story in it.
Yeah, they don't really care with the Pixar ones, do they?
Yeah.
It's all the live action films that they decide not to put the ending. Oh, well, that's a relief, because the ending's probably the best bit of the film. And without that, it could be a little bit problematic. The other thing I want to set the scene for is that I am a very lucky lad today in the sense that I did not have to read a book. You took the reading, note-taking honours on this one. And as such, I've not read your notes.
Okay.
I have no idea what to expect. And you will be getting my candid, fresh out of the brain oven response to this text.
You do owe me for this one, because we were originally going to do another book, and then that didn't happen, and then I went, well, I have this fucking book lying around, I'll just do it. And then, as always happens when I volunteer to do the notes, I get about a third of the way in, and then go, why have I done this? Why have I agreed to this?
Welcome to the last 5 years.
Yeah, but you chose that. That's fine.
I suppose. I didn't really. I Jess chose that, and then I've kind of slotted into it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's not always fun to do the notes. But to be fair, that book you chose, and we will do it.
It's one of the easier ones that I've done. But to be fair,
no. But the one that we were going to do is something that's quite personal to you.
No. But we were going to do that, and then we were going to do another one, and then that didn't happen either. And then so this is the third book for the week.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
So
it was a process, guys.
So just be
trust
grateful that you're listening to anything at all.
Because I was up until 1 a.m. last night finishing this off.
Imagine if you spent the next hour not listening to anything. Imagine how worse that would be. So look what we've got.
Exactly.
We're here. A rat learning to cook. I'm very excited. And you have this thing when you read the books. You give us a little bit of a blurb at the beginning.
Yeah, well, because I do the notes for the Book Was Better TV, and this is my format.
This is your format. So this is J Styles. Remy is a rat who enjoys the finer things in life. And that's ironic already, because you think a rat, rats, they'll eat anything.
Well, I don't know, there's a sliding scale, surely.
They do filthy things.
Yeah, but his definition of finer things is maybe not the definition that we have of finer things.
What you're saying is I shouldn't make too many grand assumptions based on that first sentence, and I should perhaps continue to read and find out what this rat is all about.
That'd be a fair statement.
All right, well, I guess we're doing everything your way this podcast. When a happy accident lands him in the kitchen of a Parisian restaurant, he can't resist helping a hapless cook create culinary masterpieces that have all of Paris waiting in line for a taste. With a little encouragement from an imaginary master chef, Remy gets his new friend out from under the thumb of the restaurant's cruel manager and follows his dreams of becoming a great chef. He already has become a great chef because they've already established that people are lining up waiting to eat his food.
Yeah. But it's not, it's not under his name. People don't know it's him.
Oh, right. So
Yeah, so he's doing the good thing. He just wants validation.
He wants everyone to know.
Yeah.
He wants the restaurant to be named after him. Like Rat Donald's.
Exactly.
A big rat from Rat Donald's.
And the book is written by Kitty Richards. And as with all...
I've seen some of her films.
With all these sorts of books, their sort of back catalogue is always as you'd expect. So she's done... SpongeBob Airpants, The Lost Episode.
Airpants. Now that's legit.
That is legit what it is called.
Is he a relative of SquarePants?
I didn't look into it. I just looked on Goodreads and went, oh, that's interesting.
How did that not raise big cartoon question marks over your head and have you further investigate the Airpants? Because I thought you must have had some kind of autocorrect error and was going to tease you.
No.
But now I'm so curious about the Airpants.
Yeah, I literally copy and pasted them off Goodreads.
Is it like Air Bud?
Maybe.
That was a dog that played basketball.
Yeah, it was a dog. Yeah.
So maybe he's a basketballer? Or maybe, do you remember?
Maybe it's like Airpants. I mean, he's a sponge. It's like,
a lot of air in there.
Sponges, yeah.
Do you know how, remember the Reebok Air... Were they Reebok?
Reebok Pump?
Reebok Pumps?
Yeah.
And you pumped air into them.
Do you mean Reebok Pumps or Air Jordans?
Do Air Jordans have a pump?
I don't think so.
Okay, no, I'm thinking of the
Reebok
pump.
Pumps, okay.
Yeah, what if you had pants that you pumped air into the front to give yourself, a bit of extra heft? I'm sure there's a market for some people out there. I wouldn't invest in a pair. But I reckon someone out there might, just need a little bit of a lift.
Okay.
In the front. Or if you plane crashed, you're in the water, a little bit of extra
pump it up,
buoyancy.
Yeah, there you go.
Everybody grab on. I'll take you to shore.
She's also written Cinderella, The Lost Tiara.
And the prince has to go around and put it on everybody's head.
I guess so.
To find out which one is Cinderella because he cannot remember her face.
Yeah. He knows her feet and her measurements and stuff.
Knows her cleavage.
The face, yeah. On the Road, which is Hannah Montana book number 14.
Oof.
And Phineas and Ferb Laugh-A-Palooza joke book.
Wow. A regular laugh-a-palooza to be had. I wish we had a sample joke from that even. That sounds pretty great stuff. So, obviously, a literary giant.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Just churning out quality after quality after quality.
In a butter churn. This is, a lot of people use typewriters, computers, word processors. This book was put together in a butter churn.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that would explain what was dripping out of it then.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, if you were hungry, you could take a page out and...
just butter your toast with it.
Oh, yeah, wipe it on a roll. Oh, wouldn't that be good? What about a scratch and sniff Ratatouille book?
Oh, but it would all just smell like rat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This book smells like shit.
It would just be overpowered. Like, it'd be like, oh, this smells like saffron. Oh, no, it doesn't. It smells like rat still. Yeah, okay.
So if you do want to scratch and sniff Ratatouille book, just leave it under your house. put a slice of cheese between a couple of pages.
Yep.
And I often will use a slice of cheese as a bookmark. And then leave it under your house. And goddamn, you are going to have a great time.
You will.
So this is a great thing. When I don't write notes, I just talk.
Yeah.
I just get to just talk. Talk. Okay.
Great.
There's a prologue.
There is. There's 2 beginnings.
Oh.
Double the beginning.
Shit. All right. Joe, let's take paragraph turns.
Okay. Although each of the world's countries would like to dispute this fact, the French know the truth. The best food in the world is made in France. The best food in France is made in Paris, and the best food in Paris, some say, was made by Chef Auguste Gusteau. Gusteau's restaurant was the toast of Paris, booked 5 months in advance, and his dazzling ascent to the top of fine French cuisine made his competitors envious. He was the youngest chef ever to achieve a 5-star rating.
A star for every year he was alive. 5-year-old. He was the 5-year-old.
Yep.
The little chef of Paris.
Little chef.
Yeah. As Gusteau. As Gusteau. No one cooks like Gusteau.
Yeah.
As Gusteau himself once said, good food is like music you can taste, colour you can smell. There is excellence all around you. You need only to be aware to stop and savour it. Chef Gusteau's cookbook, anyone can cook, climbed to the top of the bestseller list, surely not a rat. But not everyone celebrated its success. Oh no.
Anton Ego, noted food critic, was one of the naysayers. Amusing title, anyone can cook, he once said with a sneer.
Uh-oh.
What even more amusing is that Gusteau actually seems to believe it. I, on the other hand, take cooking seriously, and no, I don't think anyone can do it.
I'm so sorry. But who was right? Was it true that anyone, regardless of upbringing, training, or type of kitchen, could cook a meal fine enough to satisfy even a notoriously impossible-to-please man like Anton Ego?
Turn the page, and we will try to get to the bottom of this culinary quandary.
Oh, just Kitty. What was her name? Kitty Flaps?
Muncher? Richards.
Kitty Thigh Spreader?
Yeah.
Just totally broke the fourth wall.
She did.
Right at the end there.
Yeah.
What are you, Kitty Deadpool? Huh?
Yeah,
huh?
Exactly. And Anton Ego sounds like Pepe Le Pew.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Why did she write him such an accent like that? Because you were clearly just reading how it was written on the page.
Yeah, with all the accents and all the... Yeah, it's fun.
Do you think America would agree that France has the best food? Where are the hot dogs, hamburgers, Twinkies?
I know.
Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, like, if it doesn't give you, like, congestive heart failure, what's the point?
Yeah. Come on, France. And this is the beginning.
Yes.
So that was a faux beginning.
Yep.
Remy had a lot going for him. He was young and talented. He lived in an old farmhouse in the rolling green hills of the French countryside, and he had a rare and remarkable skill. So why was Remy so unhappy? Beats me. He sounds like
fantastic.
He's
got
really
his shit together.
Great human being, in my opinion.
It all came down to one thing. Remy was a rat.
What? Mind blown!
Oh my god! And life for a rat, even in the French countryside, was very hard. There was a lot of sneaking around, a lot of stealing, and a lot of eating, mostly rubbish. It made Remy sick to his stomach.
That does sound like an American diet. You see, Remy had a special gift, a highly developed sense of taste and smell. There was nothing he liked better than finding special ingredients, dreaming up recipes, and creating new flavour combinations. What's next? The snail that wants to be a race car?
Ha! Here's how talented Remy was. When a regular rat saw a half-eaten Napoleon, a decadent layered puff pastry, he thought, food, eat it now. To put that into perspective, when a regular rat saw a rotten banana skin, he also thought, food, eat it now.
Okay, I get it, yeah.
But when Remy spotted a half-eaten Napoleon, he paused. He closed his eyes, took a great sniff of the delicate pastry, and relished the concerto of delectable tastes. Almost as if in a dream, he began to identify the many ingredients. Flour, eggs, sugar, vanilla bean. Then he would pause for a moment and add, a small twist of lemon.
Gosh.
What a fancy little rat.
What a pretentious rat. I hate him.
Exactly.
He thinks he's too good for hot dogs and garbage.
I know, what a jerk. And he finds all this shit and he's like, well, I could combine it all and make like a delicious thing. And his dumb rat brother is just like, no, let's fucking just chuck it on a pile of garbage. And
let's eat a turd and lick each other's nuts.
Exactly.
I'm not talking about the film.
Oh.
I am talking about the film. Everybody relax.
And so he's like, no, I want to do some cooking. But you know what this fucking mushroom needs? It needs some saffron. I know where to get some saffron. In the kitchen of the farmhouse. And everyone else is like, no, Remy, don't go to the kitchen of the farmhouse because you'll get, shot or whatever. But Remy's like, fuck you guys. And he goes.
Yeah. At last, Remy located a tiny tin of saffron and held it up as if it was a rare jewel. Aquila Saffron, Italian. Of course, this is a French rat that talks with the voice of Patton Oswalt.
Yep.
Gusteau says it's excellent. Good thing the old lady is a food love. Remy cut himself off in mid-sentence as he heard a familiar voice coming from the TV. Well, this is you. This is Gusteau.
This is about your cooking, the voice began.
Hey, that's Gusteau, Remy said excitedly to his brother. Emile, look!
The two brothers stared at the screen. Great cooking is not for the faint of heart, explained Gusteau. You must be imaginative, strong-hearted. You must try things that may not work, and you must not let anyone...
Remy walked towards the TV, completely transfixed.
Define your limits because of where you came from. Your only limit is your soul. What I say is true. Anyone can cook. He looked at the camera sternly, then cracked a smile. But only the fearless can be great.
Pure poetry, Remy said in awe.
But it was not to last, said the narrator on TV. Gusteau's restaurant lost one of its 5 stars after a scathing review by France's top food critic Anton Ego. It was a severe blow to Gusteau, and the great chef died shortly afterwards, some say of a broken heart.
Like Padme Amidala. Remy was stunned. Gusteau is... is dead, he said in disbelief.
Suddenly the TV clicked off. In the reflection of the screen, Remy could see the old woman was awake and staring right at him.
Ah! Shouted Remy. He sprinted past Emile, who was sitting in a dirty pan on the stove, stuffing his face with scraps.
Fucking Emile.
Horrified, poor Remy, that he's looking at the TV and seeing a woman over 40. Almost put him off his...
I know, they shouldn't be on the TV at all.
Put him off his lunch.
I know.
Absolutely sickening. So he lost a star. So this film's about the search for the missing star.
Yeah, and it says that he it didn't say it in the book, but in the movie they were like, yeah, he lost a star because of this food critic, and then when he died, they lost another star just because he died. And I'm like, oh, that seems a bit rough.
Oh, it's because he died in the kitchen and they didn't move the body.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just like in Orange is the New Black.
Pretty much. So, yeah. Well, Disney's always been a believer in wishing upon stars and dreams coming true. Yeah. So this all makes sense to me.
They're wishing for stars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't want to get too analytical too early, but what I'm picking up, and I could be completely wrong, is this kind of thing about if you really want to do something, even if people say that you shouldn't or can't, but if you believe in it, if you see it and you believe it, then you can
do it.
Yeah, you could achieve it. Yeah.
It's almost like if you believe that you could fly.
Oh, like if you believed you could touch the sky.
Yeah. I mean, I think about it every night and day.
I close my eyes.
No, spread your wings.
I spread my wings?
Yeah, and fly away.
Well, if I had wings...
Yeah, it'd make it so much easier,
Yeah.
wouldn't? Like, if you
Well,
were believing you could fly and you already had wings.
That's half the job done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's on me.
Yeah.
It really, isn't
Yeah.
it?
You're just being fucking lazy.
That's me not fulfilling my potential.
So this old duck sees all these rats, and instead of, dealing with it in a normal way, she gets a fucking shotgun. And she has a bad aim trying to shoot these rats. So basically she shoots in her whole roof. The roof caves in. All the rats have been living in her roof. Now her house is completely infested with rats and they need to piss the fuck off. So they escape down the river. Remy is writing a copy of Gusteau's book because he stole it out of the kitchen.
He's a thief.
He's a rat, little rat bastard. And on the river, he gets split up from his family, and he's alone in a drain with only the book and his paw for company.
I've heard of food porn. You're saying this is a one-handed rat read?
Yeah, maybe.
One-handed rat read. Hi, Shazza. Go down to the newsagent and pick me up one of those one-handed rat reads. As the sun rose, lights spilled through the sewer grate. Remy flipped through the pages of his beloved cookbook, trying to dry them of his semen. As he paused on a page of Gusteau showing off one of his creations, his stomach growled, Remy sighed, and then, right before his unbelieving eyes, the photograph of the well-fed chef came to life!
If you are hungry, Gusteau said, go up and look around, Remy. Why do you wait and mope?
I've just lost my family, said Remy. All of my friends, probably forever.
How do you know? The French chef asked.
Well, Remy stopped himself. You're an illustration. Why am I talking to you?
The chef shrugged. You just lost your family, all your friends. You are lonely.
Yeah, well, you're dead, Remy retorted. This guy's a prick.
Gusteau smiled. But that is no match for wishful thinking. I feel like being dead is a match for wishful thinking, but that's fine. If you focus on what you've left behind, you will never be able to see what lies ahead. Now, go up and look around.
What this book has missed, which I love about the movie, is when he describes taste and he tries something and all those like abstract shapes and colours explode around, and the music, it's kind of a bit of Fantasia in there, and it sort of illustrates taste in a visual way. I think that's really awesome, and I think she should have risen to the challenge and tried to kind of capture that in prose, but she didn't. Kitty is a bad kitty.
I think that, I'm trying to remember if it actually was in the book. I think it was the bit where he was trying to feed his brother stuff, and, or maybe it's later on. I think it's while they're in Paris. Anyway.
So she might have touched on it.
She might have touched on it,
All right, well, sorry, Kitty.
Just I chose not to touch on it.
You chose.
Yeah, because I'm in control.
To leave it out. You are.
Yeah. So Remy, he left the drain and he discovered he was in motherfucking Paris.
Wow.
And then he died immediately from asphyxiation because everyone in Paris fucking smokes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Story over. Oh, how sad.
That's sad.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for listening.
Yeah. But no, he finds Gusteau's restaurant and he's like, "Oh fuck yeah, it's Gusteau's restaurant! Hell yeah, boy!" And then he watches in through the window as there is a new addition added to the kitchen.
We've already hired him, LaRousse said.
What? Spluttered Skinner. How dare you hire someone without my permission?
We needed a garbage boy, Horst explained.
Skinner calmed down. Oh, garbage. Well, he gave Linguini a thin, insincere smile. I'm glad it worked out.
As Horst handed Linguini a hat and uniform, Linguini gulped. What had he got himself into? A hat and a uniform is my guess.
Pretty much, yeah. So old mate Linguini's rocked up, asked for a job, and now he's a garbage boy.
So he's the human protagonist.
He is, yes.
The skinny guy, with a bit of a nose on him.
Yep.
Got hair's a bit of a rat's nest.
Little bit,
foreshadowing.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Remy continued identifying the kitchen staff, excited to show off his knowledge. Gusteau was impressed. You are a clever rat. Now, who's that? He pointed to Linguini, the brand new garbage boy who was furiously scrubbing a pan.
He's nobody, Remy said dismissively.
Not nobody, said Gusteau, correcting him. He is part of the kitchen. Now, I'm Gusteau. I'm not doing the accent.
He's a plongeur or something, Remy said. He washes dishes or takes out the garbage, but he doesn't cook.
But he could, said Gusteau.
Remy looked at Gusteau and chuckled. As if.
As if, what is he? Sure from Clueless?
Because, you know, previously, like, Gusto has mentioned that cooking, like, comes from your soul and everything. And unfortunately, Linguini was ginger.
Oh.
So he doesn't have one, so it's hard. It's just too hard for him to cook, you know?
I don't think Remy read the book properly. Remy's like, this book's his Bible. He's been sitting in a drain reading it. It's called Anyone Can Cook.
Yeah.
And then Gusto's like, this guy could cook. And he's like, nah, get fucked.
Yeah.
Fuck off, he could.
Yeah, exactly.
He should talk like that because he's a rat. He should be like, oh, that bastard can't cook for shit. I wouldn't trust him with a Chico roll the mug. Bloody mongrel.
Maybe a couple of chicken nuggets, though.
Look at him. Probably put his dick in the soup. Be picking ginger pubes out of my teeth.
Well, speaking of soup, Linguini knocks over. There's like a big pot of soup on the stove. He knocks it over because he's a complete idiot. And he tries to fix it by just throwing any old shit in the pot. Just anything he finds, just straight in there. Remy is watching this and completely losing his shit. He falls into the kitchen kind of by accident through a window, but before he escapes back out the window, he can't help but, you know, fix the soup that now smells like a 3-day-old soiled jocks.
Which is one of the things that he threw in.
Yeah. So Linguini spots Remy at pretty much the same time as Skinner spots Linguini standing by the pot of soup with a ladle in his hand. Shit, meat fan.
Which is the first line of the recipe.
Yeah.
He grabbed the terrified young man by the collar. How dare you cook in my kitchen? Where do you get the gall to even attempt something so monumentally idiotic? Skinner turned bright red. I should have you drawn and quartered. I'll do it. I think the law is on my side. It's very strict cooking laws in Paris.
Yeah. I actually looked up because I was, about a third of the way through and I needed to procrastinate. I actually looked up drawn and quartering because ever since I was a kid, I thought it was one thing and it is not quite that thing. I thought it was like they would have like horses or beasts or whatever tied to each limb, kind of like a fucked up version of the rack, right?
Yeah.
And they would pull them apart.
That's what I thought too.
That's not what it is at all.
What?
Not at all. So I looked up like the more English definition of it because obviously I didn't look very hard, and it's the full thing is like hanged, drawn, and quartered. So what they do is they hang them until they're almost dead, like they choke them. Then they put them up on like a pole or whatever. They emasculate them. They cut their nuts off and their dick. They disembowel them. They're still alive at this point. And then after that, they cut their head off. And then that's when they cut their arms and legs off and stuff. That's when they quarter them.
That seems like a weird bit of order there.
Yeah.
I think once the head's off, do what you like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. I went all these years thinking...
And there was a quarterly comics anthology called Drawn and Quarterly.
I do,
Yeah,
yes.
very cool.
Because when I googled Drawn and Quartered, that was what came up. Yeah.
There you go. All right, yes. So, the soup. What is happening with this soup? I have soup questions.
God damn. So the soup... while all this shit is going down, the waiter guy comes in, takes some soup out to a critic, and everyone's like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever, everyone's going to be fired and everything's terrible. But this critic thinks that this soup is the best thing she's ever put in her mouth. So, while Skinner wants to fire Linguini for being such a dipshit, he can't because that would make the restaurant look bad. And so Skinner makes Colette, who is a lady cook, babysit Linguini, which she's super shitty about.
Who's the voice of Colette?
Dunno.
Someone nice. Mm-hmm. I like Colette.
Yeah, I guessed that. Remy gets spotted and then caught, and then Linguini is told to take him outside and kill him, which is kind of harsh.
No, that's fair in Paris.
Okay. Linguini obviously doesn't kill Remy because he realises that, one, the rat is kind of communicating with him, and that, two, the rat can cook about 1,000% better than he can. So Remy had planned on fucking off as soon as Linguini opened the jar to let him out, but he felt sorry for the poor little ginger bugger and he comes crawling back. So Linguini takes Remy back to his place.
So he takes a leap of faith. He's going to befriend this rat.
Yes, yeah.
The rat talks to him? No, it just communicates. Charades.
Charades, yes. Yep. Nods and stuff.
And winks.
Nods and winks.
Nudges.
Yeah.
Points.
Yeah.
Linguini fumbled with the keys as he unlocked his apartment door. The warped door swung open, then caught. Linguini stepped inside and turned on a light, revealing a small, shabby, oddly shaped room. There were 2 mismatched chairs, a lone window, a tiny table with a hot plate, and a small, ancient refrigerator. Perched on the arm of the ragged couch, which also served as the bed, was a small black and white television. So this is it, Linguini told Remy. I mean, it's not much, but it's, you know... He looked around. Not much, he finished lamely. Could be worse. There's heat and light and a couch and TV, he said with a shrug. So, you know, what's mine is yours.
Well, considering the rat had been pretty much living in a pile of feces, I'm pretty sure that he can deal with an oddly shaped room and a black and white TV.
It came from a drain.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, there's shit down there. There's shit and wheeze. There's probably some, like, vomit.
Rats. He's a rat, but then other rats, mean rats, mean French rude rats, rude rats. You rude rat.
They're just like leaning up against the side of the drain, just smoking, wearing a beret, not wanting to talk to any other rats. Awful. So the next day they begin their ruse.
Linguini had arrived at Gusteau's and now stood outside uncertainly. He held Remy in his palm as he frantically tried to figure out where to hide him. Under his shirt? No. Up his sleeve? Negative. In his sock? Impossible. Down his trousers? Remy looked at him, appalled.
Rat in your decks!
Oh, I got a rat in me decks!
Oh, shit!
Hit it with a broom!
So shockingly, they completely fuck up their first day, and Linguini ends up with rat bites and scratches all over him. So
all over his balls.
He looks like an idiot, and he probably has the Black Plague now.
Probably does have some rat disease.
Probably, yeah. So they need to sort their shit out, and pretty quickly.
Like, sort out physically, like, whose shit is whose, because they're both encrusted in it from this messy day.
Yeah, maybe.
In the restaurant. Mm-hmm. I think this would be a great film to do an Australian version. Were, though, as it wouldn't be Remy, he'd be like, what would his name be?
Rat Bastard.
Rat Bastard,
yeah.
Hiding up in a hat of a meth cook.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in the meth kitchen.
Yeah, be pretty great. Yeah, nah, that's not how you do it, you dickhead.
Do you want to blow us all up, you fucking idiot?
He looked down at his paws, still grasping tufts of Linguini's hair. Experimentally, Remy gave the left tuft a big jerk. Linguini's left arm shot up. Whoa! Exclaimed Linguini. Remy tugged again, and Linguini's leg suddenly kicked out. A wild gleam came into Remy's eyes. Like a child with a new toy, he gleefully began yanking tufts from various parts of Linguini's head. Linguini jerked around the bathroom like an out-of-control marionette. Whoa! Linguini cried. That's strangely involuntary. He fell down onto the toilet seat. Remy stopped pulling. The two friends looked at each other. They had the same crazy idea. This is your leap of faith moment, really, isn't it, in the film? Like, everything else, you go, okay, a rat can cook.
Yeah.
But I'm going to control him by pulling his hair, which will make him cook well. Yeah,
it gets even, like, more leap of faith as the story goes on. But, look, if you're in, you just kind of have to stay in.
It reminds me of, like, in Days of Future Past, spoilers, when Magneto gets some train tracks. He rips up the metal and he sticks metal rods inside very complicated robots. Mm-hmm. And then because he controls magnets, he can control all the programming and functions of the robots because he randomly shoved metal rods in them.
Yep.
And if anyone's got a piece of electronic equipment at home, get yourself a big magnet. Then ram a rod through your PlayStation 4 or whatever, and then...
You won't even need your controller.
See how it goes.
Yeah.
Let us know.
So, Remy has worked out that pulling on the hair is working and controls all of Linguini's movements. So, after they performed a totally new version of The Stranger... They started their Rocky-style training montage of tugging and chopping and tugging and cooking and tugging and tugging and tugging and tugging.
Yeah, they raised a lot of the money that he wasn't making at the restaurant by going to the Edinburgh Fringe and founding puppetry of the penis.
Yeah.
Within a few hours, the two of them were working together like a well-oiled machine.
Really well lubricated, yeah.
Tiny little rat hands. Oh, can you imagine it? Because they have fingers.
And they do. They sure do.
It would be like Deadpool, one of my favourites. When he had a little hand, and it just was huge.
It was.
It was huge.
Yeah.
Bloody huge. Like a baby holding a chicken roll.
The next day, Linguini gets stuck with Colette for the first time.
Lucky guy. As Skinner stalked away, Linguini turned to the pretty young chef with a big smile. "Listen," he began. "I just want you to know how honoured I am to be studying under such a..." He trailed off, noticing the knives she was holding. Ah! Colette stabbed the knives one by one through Linguini's shirt sleeve, pinning it to the table. She was the only woman in the kitchen, she explained, because haute cuisine was considered a man's world, so she had to be the toughest cook. There's some shortcutting.
There is, yeah.
Yeah. She's saying they're like empowering...
Yeah, there's a whole empowering, like... hardcore speech that she's giving, and they're just like, we'll just condense that into 2 lines.
Let me just tell you what she said.
Yeah.
I won't let her say it.
No.
Let's just prove she's not just a pretty face by going, and then she said some stuff about, like, feminism and stuff. I kind of switched off, to be honest. Let's go back to the rat. I have worked too hard for too long to get here, and I'm not going to jeopardize it for some garbage boy who got lucky, she said. Got it? Linguini nodded pathetically. Colette grabbed the knife handles with one hand and pulled them out with a single jerk. A lot of jerking. Linguini toppled to the ground. He pulled himself up and watched Colette stomp off. She was scary. Scary, but impressive.
And he and Remy had to have a quick go at the stranger again in the food cupboard after that.
That butt. Wouldn't quit.
Yo. So Skinner, who's the mean chef boss guy, he finds out that Linguini might actually be Gusto's son for some reason, and he could be in line to inherit the whole damn business, which pisses Skinner off heaps, because he was going to inherit the business if no heir was found. So they take a hair out of Gusto's old hat for a DNA test.
Hair for an heir, am I right?
And presumably they blacklight the toilets for Linguini's sample.
You don't think that SpongeBob Airpants could have been heir, as in like an heir to the SquarePants kingdom?
Given that it was spelled AIR, probably not.
Fair point. Though on a podcast.
Well, who knows? It's all audio.
Audio, anything's possible.
Oral.
Right? It's all oral, isn't it? In Paris. So
Skinner tries to throw Linguini under the bus. Like, he wants him gone. So he tries to get him to cook some shitty recipe of Gusto's. It has all sorts of gross stuff in it.
Like bums.
Yeah, like bums and taints and all sorts of gross stuff.
Here's some sheep taints. Big barrel of them.
Yeah, because everyone's like, they ate the soup that he cooked before, and everyone's like, this Linguini guy's so good, and Skinner's like, fuck that noise. So they're cooking it, and like Remy's obviously controlling Linguini, and he goes off book, and everything turns out super great.
What I will say about this rat is he really knows what to do with a sheep's taint.
Absolutely. And Skinner is so pissed off, but he pretends to be all buddy-buddy with Linguini to get him into his office and find out what the fuck-a-doodle is going on.
Colette watched as Linguini headed into Skinner's office. The door closed behind them. Horst sidled up to her. "The plongeur won't be coming to you for advice anymore, eh, Colette?" he said with a chuckle. "He's got all he needs." Colette sighed sadly. She grabbed her coat and left the restaurant. First she wants to stab him, now she wants to...
I wanted him to plonge me. So Skinner takes this young boy into his office
I am a plunger. Sorry.
So Skinner basically gets him drunk, right? Which is not creepy at all, obviously. And outside, Remy runs into his dumbass brother Emile and a couple of his ratty mates, and he agrees to go back to the colony and see everyone, even though the colony's like kind of shit and full of rats, and he wants to stay where he is.
Yeah, he's like a rat person that's risen above his station.
He's so above his station.
Like the chauffeur in Downton Abbey.
Breno. Oh, me Breno. But back at the drunken interrogation.
Skinner had reached his limit. "You know something about rats," he yelled. Rat-a-tat-a. Hey, Linguini said nonsensically. Why do they call it that? He's drunk, right? Rat-a-tat-a. Hey, Linguini said nonsensically. Why do they call it that? What? Skinner annoyed. Ratatouille. It's like a stew. He probably said stew. Is he American?
He is, yeah.
It's like a stew, right? Linguini asked. Why do they call it that? If you're going to name a food, you should give it a name that sounds delicious. What, like a hot dog? Fuckwit.
It's descriptive, isn't it?
Ratatouille doesn't sound delicious, he thought for a moment. It sounds like a rat and patootie. Rat patootie, which does not sound delicious, he concluded.
So this is the guy that we're rooting for. This is the guy that we are supposed to want to succeed. This guy. I hate this guy.
I hate American baby talk. Like, patootie, poopy, doody.
Poopity-doobie.
Piney, potty. Like, adults say those words.
Fanny.
The Rat Clan was thrilled by Remy's return, but no one was quite as happy as Django.
Django's the dad.
Remy's dad.
Yes.
Is he...
Unchained.
What's the chain situation?
There wasn't any chains around. So
Okay.
he is a Django Unchained.
He's
yes.
off the chain.
Yeah.
He clasped paws with his son and raised their arms in the air victoriously. My son has returned, he shouted to the cheering rat crowd. The festive spirit soon turned into an all-out party, a swingin' rat party with drinks, music, and dancing.
So it's pretty much a regular Saturday night out in Cannington.
Pretty much, with swingers.
Yeah.
Rat swingers.
Like at the Foundry.
They're just
Foundry having
all
a drink.
over each other.
So Remy's dad, like, super cracks the shits when he
That's the
says
worst kind of shit.
that he wants to stay as a little chefy rat. Because he's like, but mate, you are a rat. Like, you don't cook shit. You just fucking scurry around and steal shit. So he tries to scare the tits off him to get him to change his mind.
Yeah, because everybody has their predetermined place.
Exactly.
Like, if you're born in Cannington,
Yeah.
you're not going to suddenly go into the fucking Golden Triangle. You don't belong here. Get out! You rat bastard. Climb back in your little pipe. Mm-hmm. You bugger.
I have to, like, show my passport when I come in every weekend.
Yeah. GT into house. Django and Remy walked in silence until they arrived at an exterminator shop. Remy was horrified. The window was filled with scary-looking rat traps. The world we live in belongs to the enemy, Django said. We must live carefully. We look out for our own kid, our kind, Remy. When all is said and done, we're all we've got. No! Remy said angrily. Dad, I don't believe it. You're telling me the future is, only can be more of this? He pointed to the gruesome exterminator shop. That is the way things are, Django said. You can't change nature. Change is nature, Dad. The part that we can influence, and it starts when we decide. And with that, Remy headed back towards Cousteau's. I think he's doing a nastier job on the human by crawling around in his hair and puppeteering him by tugging at it. Especially, like, this doesn't come across so much in the book, but every time he pulls his hair, he's like, do you like that? Do you like that? You little linguini bitch. You little,
Yeah, because Linguini can't understand him. He can just hear squeaking.
You little limp linguini. He's whispering in his ear and he's like, tugging at it. Really rough. It made me a little, and it certainly made the kids that were there quite uncomfortable, I've got to say.
Yeah. So Linguini is still asleep in the kitchen after his big night on the Terps with Skinner, and when Colette shows up, Remy decides to kind of weekend at Bernie's Linguini so that he can sort of save face. You know, he's asleep, but the pulling on the hair still works, so he's kind of standing up and moving around. Unfortunately, he saves absolutely no face. Colette thinks that he's ignoring her, and she slaps the shit out of him, which wakes him up.
And it goes into the soup.
Yeah.
Which is what's worse.
Yeah, there's just shit everywhere. There's rat shit, there's Linguini shit. It's like, well, God.
Lots of shit slapstick, or slap shit, as they call it in the industry in this film. Colette spoke, holding back her tears. I didn't have to help you, she said. If I'd looked out only for myself, I would have let you drown, but she took a deep breath. I wanted you to succeed. I liked you. My mistake. She turned on her heel and stormed out the back door. Is it Jimmy Garofalo? I think it might be. He found her climbing onto a motorcycle, about to make a getaway. Colette! Wait! Don't motorcycle away! Look! I'm no good with words.
You think? Don't motorcycle away.
This guy's a dummy.
No,
Absolute
Let's look up who the voice
I'm
was.
gonna look it up.
It's gonna kill you for the rest of the episode.
I know it is. It is. Vamp.
Oh, I
can't type. I can't
Just fucking
type
like
very
a normal
well
person.
on my phone.
Don't motorcycle away, Luke.
What if I just do that for a bit? You know, Ian Holm is
Yes.
Skinner.
Yes.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
Did you know Lou Romano was Linguini? Brian Dennehy is Django. Peter Son is Emile. Peter O'Toole is Anton Ego. Brad Garrett is Gusto. Why is the woman so far down the
Is she over 40?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yeah.
It is Janine
Oh, there you
Garofalo. She's 1964, she was born. And she's got an acerbic wit. Mm-hmm. I wonder if she wears those, like, hot pink leg warmers when she's being acerbic.
Jesus. So Linguini is about to spill the beans to Colette, and Remy is packing his little Dax. He doesn't want to be exposed, so he has to think fast.
Last thing you want to do in a restaurant is spill all the beans.
Yeah, exactly.
It really pisses off the head chef.
I know.
Thinking fast, Remy yanked Linguini's hair. Linguini's head jerked forward, and without warning, he planted a big kiss on Colette's lips. He's actually sexually harassing two people with one pull.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Teeth gritted, concentrating heavily. Remy held onto Linguini's hair and kept the kiss going, and he had no idea how they were going to react. He's like pulling the bit that did the tongue. And then he was like, oh, let's get a little bit animated downstairs as well. But just so she knows. As Linguini and Colette continued to kiss, their eyes betrayed a myriad of emotions. First surprise, then fear, anger, vulnerability, and finally happiness. Surprise leads to fear. Anger leads to vulnerability.
Leads to happiness.
They wrapped their arms around each other.
And Remy was stoked because he was never subjected to the stranger ever again.
Oh, gosh. Got the real deal here.
So Ego, the food critic, has found out that Gusteau's are super popular again, and he plans to head along and crush the shit out of it, because that's what critics do. They crush shit.
Yeah, people are enjoying something, they are going to shit all over it.
Absolutely. So Skinner's found out that Linguini is Gusteau's son, which really fucks with his plans, so he decides to just hide the will and the DNA evidence until the deadline for finding an heir passes, which is conveniently in 3 days' time.
He swallows the DNA evidence.
Remy finds out and steals that shit like a little thieving rat bastard that he is.
Oh, it's not Game of Thrones. A lot of, emphasis put on the heir here.
Yeah.
An hour later, Skinner returned to his office. He was soaked and furious. He became even angrier when he discovered Linguini sitting at his desk. You, Skinner spluttered. Get out of my office. He's not in your office, Colette said. You are in his. She held up Gusteau's will. Skinner gasped in disbelief. So
Linguini takes over the restaurant. He thinks that he is like the hottest of hot shit and tells everyone that it's all him. He had no help, and it's just the sweet, sweet Gusteau blood running through his veins that makes him a rad cook.
You know how Ratatouille is a difficult word to say if you're only seeing it written down and you've never seen it before. So they had to put it phonetically. Mm-hmm. So why didn't they call this Rat Cooks of Paris?
I don't know.
Question, valid question. Linguini was cocky, sure of himself. He was no longer just the garbage boy. He has all that Gusteau blood running to his cocky.
Exactly. And Remy is pissed, like hell rat pissed. After the restaurant closes for the day, he invites all his mates into the kitchen to chow down because fuck you in the face, Linguini.
This would be like, in Muppets Take Manhattan, when, and the rats are all in the kitchen, and they're working, and they're making all the food, and the guy comes in, and he's like, Frog does dishes, pig is waitress, rats cook food, this is no restaurant, it's zoo! And I'm just like, you nailed it, buddy!
Nailed it.
It's a zoo, alright.
Linguini comes back to apologise for being an asshole, but he finds out about 1,000 rats all shitting in his food.
How'd you like your taints now, you dickhead? Get out, Linguini yelled. You and all your rat buddies, and don't come back or I'll treat you the way restaurants are supposed to treat pests.
Remy's all like, fuck you, let's bounce. But he ends up getting captured by Skinner because of his idiot brother Emile, who was a complete idiot. And meanwhile, Linguini is trying to prepare for the visit by Ego the food critic, despite not knowing what the fuck he's doing at all.
After perusing the menu, Ego snapped it shut and handed it to Mustafa.
The waiter.
Okay. I was thinking of Mufasa.
Like, well, I guess if there's rats in the kitchen, then, you know, there's a lion just walking out with a menu in his mouth.
Rats in the kitchen, lions in the dining room. This is not a restaurant, this is a zoo. He spoke in a low voice. Tell your chef Linguini that I want whatever he dares to serve me. Tell him to... His voice became an evil hiss. Hit me with his best shot.
Remy escaped from Skinner thanks to his idiot brother Emile, who, you know, decided to right his wrongs, and returns to the restaurant because he still wants to help Linguini or whatever. The other chefs see him and utterly lose their collective shit.
Don't touch him! It was Linguini. The chefs dropped their weapons and turned to stare at Linguini. I know this sounds insane, he said, but well, the truth sounds insane sometimes, but that doesn't mean it's not the truth. The cooks exchanged confused glances. And the truth is, I have no talent at all, but this rat, he's the one behind these recipes. He's the cook, the real cook.
So all the chefs just absolutely nope the fuck out of there, including Colette, and Linguini is pretty far up shit creek at this point. Django and the rest of the rats turn up because Django's all like, oh, my son, I was so wrong about you, and they offer to help. Yeah, because having rats prepare the food is totally fine.
If they wear
fine.
little rat gloves.
Yeah, absolutely. In the middle of this, health inspector turns up and obviously is like, well, there's lots of rats, but they capture him, tie him up, and throw him in a cupboard. So that is absolutely a problem for future Linguini.
Where would you... I don't know if they'd make little rat gloves. You could have little, like, rat head things because you could just use, like, condoms for babies. Yeah.
Okay.
So that babies don't have more babies.
Yeah.
That would be a problem.
It would be, yeah.
Baby plague.
Yeah.
Remy got down to the next order of business, hygiene. By loading rats into the dishwasher and choosing the light wash cycle, he got everyone clean and fluffy in no time. So they have covered that. That's fine.
Yeah, and I mean, because I guess he drowned and then boiled all his friends was a little bit too much of intense, like, realism for a Pixar movie. Because, like, dishwashers are, like, they get pretty hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they kind of like they wash the dishes, yeah.
There's a lot of water spraying around.
And then they like dry the dishes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so none of those rats would have survived. But you know,
a lot of kids on seeing this movie did put their pets in dishwashers.
Yeah.
You know, it was a bit of a problem for Disney.
It was very sad.
But they bounced back.
Yeah. So Colette comes back and nearly just hurls all over the kitchen because there are fucking rats everywhere, but Linguini convinces her that it's all totally fine, and he roller skates out to serve everyone their food, and he looks like a total tit.
He does.
Absolute tit. He's wearing a fucking backpack and shit, like, what an idiot.
Yes. What a titty. A hush fell over the room as the simple meal arrived at Ego's table. At the next table, Skinner received the same meal. Ratatouille? They must be joking, he muttered. He glanced at Ego, who seemed equally unimpressed. As he watched Ego scribble a few notes in his pad, Skinner cackled to himself delightedly.
He also crackled.
Because he was sitting too close to the socket. Linguini watched the critic, his eyes full of worry. A bored look on the face. Ego poked his fork into the stew and brought it to his lips. But wait, what was that intoxicating aroma?
Rat shit, I think.
As his mouth closed around the forkful of food, the sounds and sights of the restaurant faded away. The taste combinations were like a symphony. Memories began to swirl in his head. Suddenly, he was a little boy again and had just fallen off his bike. His mother took her sniffling son inside and gave him a plate of food to comfort him, a plate of ratatouille. While Ego was lost in his reverie, his pen slipped from his hand and clattered to the table, jolting him out of his memories. He blinked and looked down at the extraordinary stew, and for the first time in a very long time, Ego smiled, and then he helped himself to another mouthful.
So Skinner storms into the kitchen and demands to know who the fuck cooked that bullshit meal, only to obviously be met with a sea full of rats and then have them capture him too, throw him in the cupboard with the health inspector guy. And then Ego, because he's so just overtaken by this ratatouille stew that he wants to meet the chef. And at first they're like, well, we don't know if we really want to introduce you to the chef, but eventually Linguini and Colette introduce him to Remy and explain everything. Doesn't kind of say much. He seems like pretty chill, but then he just leaves. And so they're all like, oh my god, Ego is definitely going to do some shady shit and just fuck up all of their lives because he's a jerk, right? Like, ego is a
Jerk/slash
jerk.
critic, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And so the next day, the restaurant review appears in the paper.
Now here's the review, and this is the part that I wasn't expecting from the film.
This is my favourite part of the
Me
whole
too.
movie.
It's wonderful, and I think it's very pertinent even today. So if you've written a negative review of Ghostbusters, perhaps on my Facebook feed recently, and caused me to unfollow you, which did happen, maybe such a person, if they existed out there, could take this
to heart. Or they can shove it up their butt. Either way.
In many ways, the work of a critic is easy. We risk very little, yet enjoy a position over those who offer up their work and themselves to our judgment. We thrive on negative criticism, which is fun to write and to read, but the bitter truth we critics must face is that, in the grand scheme of things, the average piece of junk is more meaningful than our criticism designating it so. But there are times when a critic truly risks something, and that is in the discovery and the defense of the new. Last night I experienced something new, an extraordinary meal from a slightly unexpected source. To say that both the meal and its maker have challenged my preconceptions is a gross understatement. They have rocked me to my core. In the past, I have made no secret of my disdain for Chef Gusteau's famous motto, anyone can cook, but I realize that only now do I truly understand what he meant. Not everyone can become a great artist, but a great artist can come from anywhere. It is difficult to imagine more humble origins than those of the genius now cooking at Gusteau's, who is, in this critic's opinion, nothing less than the finest chef in France. I will be returning to Gusteau soon, hungry for more. Moral of the story is, if a rat can cook, a woman can be a Ghostbuster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very prescient.
Thanks, Ratatouille.
Here is the end. This is the end.
This is the end.
Let's reshare this.
Yes.
The end? No way! Here's what happened next. They had to let Skinner and the health inspector loose, and those two, well, ratted everyone out. The Ministry of Health closed down Gusteau's for good.
Remy, Linguini, and Colette were all unemployed. The rats no longer had a place to get quality food.
And Ego was fired. He'd never review another restaurant again.
The end? Guess again. Remy, Linguini, and Colette opened a bistro. Linguini served, Colette and Remy cooked. There was something for everyone. A small bistro in the back was for the rats, and a large one in the front was for the humans. The name? Les Ratatouille, of course. It became one of the most popular places in town.
And their most loyal customer? He was a tall, skinny former food critic turned small business or investor with an intense love of Ratatouille. Isn't this how Chef ends? Where the critic becomes an investor? Yeah, spoilers for Chef. Good work for Ro.
You just stole it off Ratatouille.
Yeah, watching DVDs with your kids, you lazy prick. It was in fact Anton Ego, and he came in for a bowl of Ratatouille, sometimes two every night, fat bastard. And soon Anton Ego was skinny no longer. Well, God. Gusteau had been right. Anyone, regardless of upbringing, training, type of kitchen, or even species, could cook.
The end? You bet. Endings don't get much happier than this one.
I can't remember. Did he end up in Colette's ending?
Well, I'm sure it was like it was implied.
Yeah.
You know, like they can't show it in a kid's movie.
Oh, not the whole thing. No.
Yeah.
Not the when he was pulling her hair and controlling her, and then she was pulling his hair and controlling him.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
And
it
then
was
the rat-
mutual and consensual, like it was fine.
Was pulling both their hair,
Yeah.
controlling each other.
Yeah.
And there we go. That is a Ratatouille. Well, I do have to ask, was the book better?
No.
No.
No,
I
it was a
agree.
very pretty movie, so I like looking at it with my eyes.
I'm going to say, like, just from those excerpts from the book, it didn't seem poorly written or anything, but yeah, very much a visual thing.
Yeah.
And I think some of those leaps of faith are a little bit easier when you're seeing it as opposed to just having some bugger tell you about it.
Because even when they were like doing their little Rocky training montage, they blindfolded Linguini so that Remy could control him sort of completely, and it was like that seems like unnecessary. Because he's going to be using his eyes when he's actually in the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, like, let him do stuff with his eyes open so that he can, like, learn to cut things properly.
Is that what you felt when Obi-Wan Kenobi put the blast shield on Luke when he was going to do most of his Jediing with his eyes open?
No, because the Force is, like, a different kind of thing. It's not like a physical manipulation.
It's not like a little rat.
No, it's not at all like a little rat pulling your hair.
Oh, it's a bit of a mystery, though. It could be.
Well,
I mean, no one saw midichlorians coming.
Well, that's very true.
Who knows?
Yeah.
And and an alright movie. My new benchmark for you is Tarzan. Would you rather watch Ratatouille or Legend of Tarzan?
Tarzan.
Wow. Would you rather eat a tray of marzipan?
Yep.
Or watch Tarzan?
How big's the tray? Like, I feel like it would be...
It has to fit in a regular oven, like a domestic oven. But it can take up that whole rack.
I think probably Tarzan. I feel like that's too much marzipan.
Would you rather watch Cars 10 or
Tarzan?
Tarzan?
Tarzan!
Alright. Would you rather ride in a Mars van?
Like Mars the chocolate bar?
It's a van on the planet Mars,
okay,
but it is full of Mars
chocolate bars. Is it made from Mars, or is it just containing Mars bars?
No, it contains Mars bars, and it drives around the surface of Mars.
Okay.
And you can eat the Mars bars.
I like the idea of eating the Mars bars, because I do really like Mars bars, but I feel like Mars itself would be a bit boring.
Yeah.
So maybe I would probably still pick Tarzan.
What if Matt Damon was there?
Is this pre or post potato growing? Because if there were potatoes there, that might change my mind.
There are potatoes there.
Okay.
And Mars bars, but not much else.
I don't know, like the potatoes were grown in shit, so maybe still Tarzan, I think.
And the Mars bars were also grown in shit.
Okay, it has to be...
they were dipped in shit.
Oh, yeah.
But they were rinsed.
Okay, all right. I think it's still Tarzan, sorry.
All right, Tarzan.
Yep.
Yeah. Best movie of 2016. Heard it here first. Okay, now, there weren't any Amazon reviews.
There was not. No, I was surprised, actually.
But you did...
Because I found Amazon reviews of some dumb books that we've done, yeah.
But you did dig up something else.
On Goodreads.
And Goodreads,
yes,
as we always say, is the Wild West. Like, Amazon has some rules. Goodreads, just anything can happen. It takes all types, and nothing shows that more than Goodreads. So, do you want to read these?
No.
Yeah, okay,
your special review voice.
All right. Janie said, here's her review. Not bad.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Nothing else. That's fine.
Still, if I was worried it was going to be bad...
Now I know that it's not.
No, it's not, so that's all right.
It's good. It's good.
Shane said, and this is 4 stars, this is a good book if you like rats and chefs.
Well, I mean, it's to the point.
He's not wrong.
He's definitely not wrong. Like, if I had been watching a whole lot of MasterChef and was a rat fancier, I would be like, you know what? I need to read this book because it has both rats and chefs.
They were 2 of your favourite things. I reckon this movie's pretty much for you. Imagine, though, if they were your favourite things and then you were bitterly disappointed. I was going to say bitterly disappointed.
Disappointed, yeah.
By the film.
Well, it'd just be like the world had just opened up and just a deep, deep chasm of gloom.
I would give that problem to A Monkey on a Rock.
Exactly.
Which is a Pixar film coming out Boxing Day. And then finally, Book Ratatouille's story is a rat that has special talent in smelling and interest in cooking is cooking for a great gourmet ego. The rat's name is Remy. First he meets his partner Linguini. He is son of Gusto, the great cook, but he is not talented as his father. But with Remy's help, he can success in his cooking. At first, everybody left the kitchen when they heard that a rat is cooking. Bet with Remy's family's help he could give food to Ego. When the people know that a rat is cooking, they close the restaurant and Ego lost his job too because he said that the food that rat made was good, even though he knows that rat made this food. But he makes a small business and successes, but they made a new small restaurant named Ratatouille and they successed.
So basically that review is telling the plot of the book. Like, that's a shitty thing to do.
More succinctly, though.
Yeah.
To be fair, captures it and has a bit of a unique voice, and I like writers with the unique voices.
Well, I mean, we should support the new and different.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point. The other thing I found is on Goodreads, you can pose questions about the book. And, the reviews weren't particularly interesting. I thought these were quite funny.
I think this might be a new thing. I watched the movie of this and it's the second best movie I've watched. Hang on.
That is copy and pasted.
It is the second best movie I watched.
Yeah. So maybe they have like a tier system.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like the second best. So it was the best, of the second best movies that they've ever watched.
Lost, but I'm going to try it again.
Okay.
I watched the movie of this, and it is the second best movie I've watched. They should put this book in public libraries for kids who liked the movie when they watched it, if they did watch it. Why don't they put this in the public libraries?
I'm pretty sure it's probably in the public libraries, Guy.
Not all of them, but I reckon some. And I think, like, if the kids watched it when they did watch it, if they did watch it, then they would probably get something out of reading it if they did read it, providing it was made available to them free of charge from a public library were it to be put in public libraries.
Yeah, and I think, maybe they pick it's in certain suburbs. Again, we're talking about representation, so the suburbs where there's most likely to be rat people, they'll have it in that public library.
And this last one is very short. I couldn't help but sort of get the gist of it, and I think this one's pretty great. Hello! Can you help me, please? I don't know how to read this book, and I really need to read it very soon. Thank you. Please guide me through the steps. Shit, alright. It's gonna take some time, I think.
Yeah. Like you go on the internet and you post, can you please help me read this book?
How do I read the book?
How do I read the book?
What are the steps?
Like, are they asking for...
Step 1, learn to read.
It's a good step. Good step.
2, find the book. May or may not be at a public library. Jury is out on that one. Step 3, I would start around about page 1 and kind of work my way through left to right, top to bottom, towards the end. Which is a very Western way of doing it. Yeah. If there is a manga adaptation of Ratatouille.
I'm sure there probably is. There seems to be a manga adaptation of everything.
Yeah, you would probably have to start at the back, which is really their front, and then work your way through. So, look, you never stop learning.
No, that is, that's the lesson. I mean, Ego went on a journey and he learnt to accept new things. Yeah. Which is a lesson that we can all learn. He
had an insatiable taste for rat shit, is what we discovered.
Yeah, spicy rat shit.
And duck taints. Or were they sheep taints? I think it was a little bit of both. So
this is the Taintorama.
Taintorama. That was the name of their restaurant. And every taint timber, they had a taint fest.
Taints are us.
Yes. Thank you for listening to Book Was Better. Please go to fruitlesspursuits.com to find our other shows. Jacinta and I do a weekly pop culture podcast. We just reviewed Ghostbusters yesterday and talked a lot about Pokemon Go and about some Jane Austen thing. Go and have a listen to that. We do that every week, and that's a lot of fun. And you'll also find links on fruitlesspursuits.com to our Facebook page. You can come and discuss the show with us, rate reviewers on iTunes, support us on Patreon if you really want to. And, of course, a huge thank you to you, Jacinta, for not just doing 2 shows this week, but taking on the burden of reading this book. I thoroughly enjoyed getting to be a passenger and just absorb all this for the first time alive.
Yeah, it was one of the easier ones that I've done, I must admit. As much as I bitch and moan, this one wasn't too bad. But yes, I think I've done the last couple book was betters that we've done. I've done the notes for them, so you definitely have to do the next one.
Yeah. And next week, I think is pretty locked in. It'll be Courtney Colson, and we'll be doing our first Bond book on The Book Was Better. The Bond Was Better. We're doing, I think we're doing, oh shit. No, we're doing World Is Not Enough, I think. Or is it GoldenEye? I think it's World Is Not Enough. And the reason I don't know is because Courtney has also taken the burden and has done the notes. So I get a little bit of a break. So very much looking forward to that. And catch that next time. So thank you so much.
Catch you on the flips.
Jumanji!